What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Just going live on Instagram here. Boom. All right. We've got YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Welcome, everybody. Nobody yet. We're telling your followers that we're starting. There we go. What's up, Chip? What's up, Ali? Hey, you know what's crazy is I had to buy a new phone so I could do TikToks with the Instagram. And I go to Best Buy, and Best Buy no longer sells unlocked phones like T-Mobile phones or whatever. They no longer sell those. They're not allowed to, I guess. And so I couldn't get an iPhone. So I was like, well, I'm going to get a Google Pixel. It's way cheaper. And so I am streaming on TikTok from a Google Pixel 4. And it's pretty good. It's pretty great. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hello from Morocco. Yeah, tell me where you're from, everyone. Where are you calling in from today? Cameron, what's up? Pranjala Ruhela, what's up? What's up? That title was attracting, though, not going to lie. Oh, good. How to get your first $85,000 programming job? Is that the title? We'll talk about that today. Let's talk about that. Maryland, India, France. Bonjour. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? India, South Carolina, USA. Congrats for your new phone. That's right. I've gone Android. I've gone rogue. I've gone rogue on TikTok. We're going Android. Teach us how to get this cash, says Cameron. Yeah, let's talk about this. Obviously, I'm talking about programming. I think I put that in the title there. I'm talking about programming. And if anyone has questions today, hey, from Algeria, what's up, everyone? Iran. If anyone has questions today, feel free to ask them. I will answer them on here. But how do you make $85,000 as a programmer? It's something that I'm heavily focused on because that's what I do for my program, for the DevSlopes Academy. My goal is to get people there. And so I'm constantly obsessed with this concept of taking somebody who's brand new and then helping them get a highly paid job. So what's up, Pennsylvania, San Francisco Bay Area? Awesome. Welcome. So, how do you get your first job? And a lot of people say it's impossible. It's not impossible. I help people do this all the time. Not impossible at all. It's very possible, actually. But there's just some things you have to do. And I'm specifically talking about the United States. I'll cover international after. But really, what you need to do is you need to learn the core skills, of course. That part most people have covered down between courses and boot camps and stuff. Okay, but you need to have the core skills down. But here's the problem that most people run into. They go to a boot camp or they learn on their own and they've built some project. But when they go to apply, their resume isn't that great. They're not getting picked up. They're not even getting called in for interviews, okay? And so what happens is you send in this resume and your last job shows you working at a car dealership or shows you as a chef at Red Lobster, right? If your resume looks like that, no one is going to call you in to get a job. And here's the reason why. Resumes, okay, when someone looks at a resume, they're going to look at it for 3 to 5 seconds before they move on to the next one. That is real. 3 to 5 seconds. They're going to glance at it. And if I see Red Lobster on there or any red flags, it immediately goes into the discard pile because I don't have time as an engineering manager to thoroughly research all of these things. So what you need to do is after you've learned the core skills, you need to have the perfect resume for one. If you need coaching on the resume, go Google DevSlopes podcast resume. I teach all about how to do this. But here's the thing. You still have to get those jobs on the resume. And that's where freelancing comes in. You need to do 3 to 5 freelancing projects prior to getting a job. This is paid work on Upwork.com. You can find some simple projects. That's fine. But you need to build multiple projects and hopefully different projects, like different types of things on Upwork.com. And what you're going to do is you're going to put those on your resume as your job experience. You're going to put, built music streaming app, using MVC, using Swift, whatever it is, you're going to list those technologies. If you have 3, you can fill up your resume. If you got 5, that's even better. And then this is what's going to happen. Okay. Once you have those freelance projects on your belt, first off, you now have real experience. People have paid you money to do something. That's real world experience. Your confidence is going to go through the roof. I promise you. But 2 is when you go get into that interview now, this is what's going to happen. Your employer is going to be like, okay, I noticed that you don't have any previous job experience. Okay. So they've looked at your resume and you're in the door now for your interview. You don't have previous job experience. You've just done freelancing work. Can you explain that to me? Or why are you looking for a job now? And this is what you say. I did freelancing because I really like the opportunities and different projects I got to work on. It's been a wonderful experience. But now what I really want to do now is be with a company permanently. I want to grow and work with other engineers. As you know, when you're working by yourself and not on the team, you don't get that cohesive environment. You don't learn the things you need to learn. So I really want to work for a company where I can learn and grow with the team. And they're going to love that. They're going to love that answer. But you couldn't have got in the door if your resume said Red Lobster on it. Okay. Cameron says the boot camp told us it takes 6 months on average to get a job after graduation. That's pretty typical for a regular boot camp, because keep in mind, regular boot camps, what they do is they kick you out. So you do the program and then they kick you out. And so it's not enough time. We all know that. Everyone knows this. It's not enough time. And so you need more time to do it. By the way, that's what the DevSlips Academy, we're not a boot camp. We're a coaching program. What we do is we do the training like the boot camp, but you actually submit assignments that are graded, and we keep working with you on your resume and all these things until you're hired. We actually don't ever kick you out. We keep coaching you and working with you until you're hired. So it's similar to a boot camp up to a degree, but you get more support and we push you all the way to the finish line. Because getting that support on your resume and on the projects and knowing how to close projects and all those things is really important. So how do you make $85,000 as a programmer in your first year of learning and everything? You got to learn the core skills. All right. You need to get your resume filled up with real paid projects. You need to apply for the job. And then if you do 10 to 15 interviews, you're going to land one of them. Okay. It's a lot of work. I didn't say it was easy, but that's how you do it. That's the same thing I teach my students in the academy. Sorry, Instagram, I can't keep up with all these comments here. I'm a .NET developer. What's your suggestion for me? I don't know. What are you trying to do? I'm aware about taking my career to the next level with machine learning. Any tips to start with? Learn Python, learn about machine learning, become a master of it. Is it possible to get a job in big tech without a CS degree? Absolutely. It happens all the time. Google, Apple, they all hire people without degrees all the time. People with degrees too. Okay. Front end or back end, which side gets job faster? Definitely front end. I found that a lot of companies don't hire junior back end developers. They typically want people with experience, and then you get on the back end later, like a job upgrade almost. Back end developers tend to get paid more than front end developers. Hello from Sweden. Hi, Blazor or Razor. So I tried out the new Blazor for C# and .NET. It's pretty cool, actually. If I was building .NET apps, I would be all over Blazor because it's like React. Should I focus more on CSS and HTML and master them before learning JavaScript? No, you can't really get jobs, full-time jobs, just knowing HTML and CSS. Master JavaScript first. Code is going to take you a lot more. It's going to take you a lot further than HTML and CSS. Those are just syntax languages. Those aren't even programming languages. They're not programming languages. You memorize CSS, HTML. They're things that you memorize. There's like one way to do something really with CSS, HTML. Like it's a set of rules, whereas programming is a set of tools that your brain has to use logic to figure out how to solve problems with. You don't solve problems with HTML and CSS. So master JavaScript, and then pick up HTML, CSS along the way. Where did I study? I'm taught from the School of Hard Knocks, straight out of the United States of America. All right, let's look at TikTok here. Is that real to find a job in the USA with no work authorization? You're not going to, if you don't live in the USA, you're not going to find a full-time job in the USA unless you move here with a work visa. You got to be here though. However, you can do freelancing work for the United States and make tons of money outside of the United States. I'm a third-year CS student. Honestly, haven't learned much. How do I start from the beginning? You need to just learn to code on your own real fast and build projects. You're going to learn way more. And then that CS knowledge can just be supplemental stuff you learn along the way. Are YouTube tutorials helpful? They can be. Watch my video. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I published a new YouTube video today. You can see it right now on YouTube. I mean, watch it after, but it's called why you should stop watching YouTube tutorials. Watch that video today. I give some great advice on how to have success as a developer. Does hacking need to know how to program? Yes. I mean, you can do phishing, which is where you deceive people and then, hack, steal from them, but that's different from hacking. Can you save your live, please? I save all of these, although we don't publish them. Actually, on YouTube, they're available for 5 days on YouTube, okay? These are available for 5 days on YouTube. What are we talking about? We're talking about just how to get your first job as a programmer, $85,000 a year. Do you know Blazor? I know a little bit because I was playing with it to learn it. I have not put it on any professional app. I learned it and built some apps with it just for fun. Okay. Should I reach back out or wait for you guys to respond again? You were talking with somebody on WhatsApp. Oh, I'll ping them. We've been really, really behind. I'm sorry. I just logged in after you're off. Can I log in and just restart? Yes, I would recommend doing that. Hi from Liverpool. How can you land an internship with a low GPA? No one cares about your GPA when you're going to get a programming job. They care about your skills. I'm a third-year CS student. Haven't learned much, honestly. How do I start from the beginning? Oh, yeah, did you just post that in TikTok too? Yeah. Just start learning on your own. Learn to code on your own. Build projects. Go on to Upwork.com. Take on freelancing work. You'll make much more progress. Starting my ethical hacking study. Any tips? I don't know where to start. Yeah, I highly recommend you get a book called Hacking. It's got a brown cover on it with like ones and zeros on it. It's the best book about hacking I've ever seen out there. It's a great place to start. Is iOS dev a promising career? Absolutely. They're some of the highest paid jobs. I recently placed somebody whose very first programming job paid $120,000 in the United States as an iOS developer. Okay. Let's see. How to work remotely from home. Freelancing is going to be your best friend. It's the quickest way to do that. Sir, to become a web developer, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML enough? Maybe, but you need to learn a major framework like React or Angular on top of that. I would say learn React and you'll land a bunch of jobs. What's the salary of a web developer in the United States? It starts at $75,000 US and goes up from there, up to 120 on average. What projects stand out in a resume? Can you suggest them? Okay, so projects on a resume, okay, shouldn't necessarily be your school projects. Don't put your school projects on a resume. Your big, huge school or capstone project that you did, all right, that's what you put on GitHub. And it needs to be amazing, not just some dumb little project, preferably something that you picked or chose and you added a lot of value to. Then when you go for an interview and the employer says, hey, we want to look through your code, you can show them that project. What needs to go on your resume are paid projects that you did freelancing work on, projects that someone paid you money to do, real projects. It's going to give you an insane amount of experience. You can get those projects on Upwork.com. That's the quickest way to get your first job. I will accept HTML as a programming language, then calling someone who uses WordPress a web developer. Interesting. Okay. WordPress, I'm not a fan of WordPress, but WordPress can become quite complicated. You can build custom things in PHP and you still have to use HTML and CSS. Like it's its own thing. I know WordPress developers who make $200,000 a year or more purely with WordPress. Like, yeah, it's not pure programming, but there's careers in it. Is C# versatile for the future? Yep. C# is not going anywhere. In terms of salary, what's your take on data scientist versus web developer or versus developer? They can be pretty similar. I think programming has higher paying long-term salaries, but you should do what you love most. Remember, data science is numbers and math, statistics. If you like math and statistics, data science is for you. If you hate math and statistics, data science is not for you. I get this question so much. Everyone's like, oh, I want to learn data science. And I'm like, oh, you like math? They're like, no, I hate math. I'm like, well, why are you getting into data science? All you do is work with data and math. That is all you do all day long, every single day. That's the job. That's the job. Working with spreadsheets. You're going to be a master of Excel. Like the programming aspect with Python that you learn is like so minimal. Most of everything you do is math, statistics, things like that. Appreciate your content. Thanks. I know you've been asked this question many times, but what's the best programming language to start with? Is it Python? Look, pick the language for the path, okay? Like if you don't know and you just want to fool around, sure. Fool around with Python or JavaScript. Those are two easy languages. But if you're serious about coding, pick the path, the career path you want to go down, and that's what you learn. Don't be learning languages just because they're the easy or starter language, okay? Pick the programming path you want to go down, your career path, and learn that language, whether it's C# and .NET for enterprise, whether it's C# and Unity for games, whether it's Swift for iOS, Kotlin for Android, whatever. You learn the language for your tech stack. Don't go learning Python just because it's a good place to start. If you know who you want to be when you grow up, learn the language for that path. Otherwise, if you don't know, yeah, sure. You can just fiddle around with Python or JavaScript. Sure. Hello, mate. How's it going? All right, let's see. I'm interested in both web dev and iOS dev. Which direction is best to pick up and understand fast? It's up to you. If you love iPhone apps, you should learn iPhone. iPhone is very straightforward. Okay, you just got to learn Swift and the iOS platform. You don't have to learn anything else, which is really cool. I can place people much more quickly as a native iOS developer than I can with web. Now, keep in mind, you've got to love iOS. You got to love Mac. You got to own one. Most of my students don't own a Mac, and they have no interest in owning a Mac. So that immediately eliminates iOS. Because web development, you learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and then you probably got to throw some other things on top of it too sometimes, like Node or jQuery or whatever the job calls for. With iOS, all you're ever going to do is Swift and UIKit. That's it. You're never going to have to do anything crazy or learn anything crazy new. It's the same thing every single time. So it's up to you. There's great opportunities in both. How can you make your resume stand out to recruiters? Do me a favor. Google DevSlopes podcast resume. I go in depth on that very subject. DevSlopes podcast resume. And of course, I teach this in the DevSlopes Academy. DevSlopes Academy is our 16-week training program where we train you and we coach you. We grade your projects and assignments, and then we help you build your resume. We help you land freelance projects, help you get a full-time job. That's devslopes.com/apply. Okay. How much do the iOS developers you place make? I was mentioning earlier, I placed somebody recently for $120,000 for their first job. That's on the high end. On the low end, around $80,000 a year is pretty average for a new developer. Some people, they go a little bit less, like they're just desperate for that first job. For the people who come in strong with like freelancing and who take that seriously, they can get higher paying jobs like at $100,000. I'm talking specifically about iOS. With web development, you typically place around $75,000. But there's a lot of companies who just can't find iOS developers and they need somebody right now. And so they're willing to pay premium prices for that. You got to have the skills though. Okay. You got to be good. 85K coding what about after 3 or 5 years? Yeah, easily 120,000, 130,000. Easy. Yeah. I'm based in UK. US should do it. Best language to learn for cross-platform mobile. My preference is Flutter and Dart, the Flutter framework with the Dart programming language. I think it's far superior than React Native, in my opinion. But your two major contenders that are actually good are React Native and Flutter. I'm pursuing a bachelor's in computer science in India. I want to be a game dev and coding in C++ for 4 years, but I lack exposure in studies. Should I do MS in US or should I do a job? Yeah, game development's it's a long path, a lot of work. Just keep learning C++. If you want to get in faster, learn C# and Unity and go build a mobile game. Go work for a mobile game studio. Those jobs are way easier to get into. And then you keep learning C++, then you can go get your AAA job. Python or SQL, those are two completely different things. How can I start coding? I'm pretty new, but interested. First things first is go onto YouTube, do a free coding tutorial, see if you like it. If you do like it, you can buy some cheap courses, or if you're really serious, you just want to do this, make $100K a year as a developer, go join a program, a boot camp like DevSlopes Academy. We train you in 16 weeks and then we work with you until you get a job. You've got a lot of options available to you. Is JavaScript different from the Java language? Yeah, they're two completely different languages. Just looking at some more comments here. I'm a big fan, says Umar. Awesome. Why I will work for others with a salary, in my opinion, I learned development for working my own website. If you want to work for yourself, go ahead. Being a freelancer is an awesome opportunity. Lots of opportunities as a freelancer. You can make lots of money. Lots of freedom. You get less freedom when you work a full-time job. What hires more as a junior developer, front-end or back-end? Absolutely front-end. I don't see a lot of back-end developer jobs for juniors, but front-end developers, because on the front end, you can't break anything really, right? All the data is truly managed by the database in the back end, the serious important stuff. You want developers who are skilled on the back end. New developers, like I'm going to put a new developer on HTML, CSS and give them a little JavaScript, nothing too serious. It allows me to make sure I trust them. I can help them grow and learn without breaking anything. So you're going to see a lot of companies hiring just for that, front-end developers, and then you can migrate and move on to the back end. That's my recommendation. The video is pausing a lot. Sorry. It's just the internet. I've got 3 streams going on. One's on the Wi-Fi. Actually, 2's on the Wi-Fi. One of them is on my Ford LTE. So I don't know. How to create a website like Udemy, Coursera. Lots of different options there. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React for your front end, for your back end. It doesn't matter. You could use Node with MongoDB. And then you need some place to host your static data, like the structure of the courses and things like that. So you could build your own backend for that, but you'd probably also need an admin panel on the front end, like, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, React, things like that too. So, yep. What app ideas should you put in your resume? You should go for your resume. You should do paid projects on Upwork. That's what you should put on your resume. Please reboot Instagram. I'm not sure it's going to help at all. Here, I'll put on my Wi-Fi. I turned on the Wi-Fi. Turned on the Wi-Fi, but it's probably going to get worse because the Wi-Fi at this office is no bueno. Your opinion on test automation role? I have no opinion on that. I don't ever know anybody who's like, I want to be a tester. I want to be in the test automation. Like, I just haven't met anybody who like wants to get into that. Mark, you are the GOAT. Way back, I took your Swift course. Now my own mobile gaming company. Hey, that's pretty cool. TikTok Bully 01. That's pretty dang cool. I'd take a screenshot of your comment so I could save it, but I don't know how to do that on an Android phone. How is the job market as a Flutter developer? It's 0 for full-time jobs, almost 0. For freelancing, though, the sky's the limit. You can do all kinds of projects. You have to be creative to be a front-end developer? No. What do you think about blockchain developers? Big opportunities there, especially with Ethereum and Solidity. Let's see. What are you asking, Johan? If we take your program, do we get unlimited access to it? Yeah, Johan, how it works is the DevSlopes Academy, it's immersive coaching, but you do it on your schedule. So for instance, you'll do some of the content, but most importantly, you'll actually build out major projects and you submit them to be graded. So if you submit it at midnight, our teacher's going to come in like at 8 a.m. or whatever, and they're going to grade it, give you feedback. And it's ad hoc, so you can work a full-time job. And then we've got the live chat room. We've got weekly live meetups where you can actually come and chat with an instructor on Zoom. And we just coach you the whole time. And then you actually do lessons where you can submit your resume, and we can give you feedback on that. And we'll help you get freelancing projects along the way. We basically work with you the entire process until you become a paid developer. So it's very, very convenient in that way. That's devslopes.com/apply if you want to chat on the phone more about it. What do you think about taking front-end path from Code Academy? It's a good way to get a job. It just depends on your personality. Like, I know a ton of people who go the budget route, like let's say Treehouse or Code Academy, and they spend, let's say, $15 a month or whatever it is. I see a lot of people go that route. What tends to happen is they learn some skills, but they don't get a job, right? So it's great. The whole world is great at teaching skills. You can get skills all over the place. The real thing that we all struggle with is, how do we know when we're ready? We know if our skills are good enough. How do we have someone look at our code to make sure we're doing it right? How do we know we're building the right projects that an employer wants to look for, right? Like, there's so many things that are more or just as important as the skills, right? So it could be a good path, but it's not going to be enough in most cases. Yeah, it's 350 hours you're saying, but like I said, it's not about the content. Check this out. I teach people in my web program HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. I stripped out and threw away everything else. I do the same thing in the iOS program. We teach you the core competencies of iOS. We do not teach you augmented reality. We do not teach you machine learning. We do not teach you any of the extra things that Apple does. We don't even teach you in-app purchases. Okay, none of that stuff. Why? Because the jobs don't care about that stuff, and you can learn it on your own. What we focus on is teaching you the core things you need to get a job. So you're saying 350 hours. That may be too much. They may be teaching you everything under the sun. Does that mean you're going to get a job when you're done? It doesn't. It doesn't. Skills do not equate to job. Competent practical skills plus knowing what type of job you're applying for and having the right resume and everything in between is going to all add up to help you get that job. Taking just a coding program with no support or mentorship or anything in between is a very long path. It's what I did when I was learning to code. I had nobody at all. And it took forever. I was always unsure of myself. What if you could learn without being unsure? What if you had people like me who are telling you whether you're good or not and where to improve or not? That's what it takes to get that job really fast, is that accountability, that coaching and mentorship. So are you going to learn stuff in a 350-hour program? You are. Is it going to get you that job? Not necessarily. You end up forgetting most of what you learn when there's too much content. Absolutely. And I tell this to people all the time. Like, people say to me, Mark, why would I join the DevSlopes Academy when I can just do Udemy? And I just tell them, it's not about the content. Okay, there's content everywhere. It's about coaching and accountability and mentorship. It's about having people who have been where you want to be, helping you get there. It's about having people who are where you want to be, helping you get to that same spot. That is what the DevSlopes Academy is all about. That's what coaching is all about, right? Think of apprenticeships like back, 200 years ago, or in the 1700s, apprenticeships, right? You didn't go through the carpentry school and then, you learn all this stuff and then you became your own carpenter. No, you know what you did? You immediately went on the job, and you started training under a coach. And you started learning and doing and getting better and better and better. That is the fastest way to learn anything in life, is apprenticeship. Anyway, that's what we do at DevSlopes Academy. Then there, Mark, I know I need to burn 350 hours on my core now. Yeah. Stuck on achieving my first Upwork paid project, front-end web development. Suggestions? I don't know what you mean stuck. Like you're stuck with a code issue or something? Explain more. Is it possible to get a job with Udemy and self-study? Don't waste thousands when you can do it cheaper. I just explained this. It is possible. It is possible, but you have to be a go-getter. You have to know when to apply for the jobs. You have to have the right resume, right? You've got to do all that stuff on your own. It just takes a long time. You can totally do it. If you find a $10 Udemy course that's 80 hours, it may teach you all the core competencies you need to know. Who's going to keep you consistent? Who's going to help you build your resume? Who's going to look at your code to know where you stand? Like, how are you going to get paid projects? You have to figure all that on your own. If you're willing to do that, then, the sky is the limit. If you'd like to move faster, you may want to consider finding a coach. That's why I exist. That's why I created my company, DevSlopes Academy, is because It's about speed. Yes, I know you can learn to code on your own. I learned to code on my own. You could spend 2 years doing that, like I did. Or you could spend 16 weeks plus some coaching and be working this year. Next year, you could have $100,000 salary. 2 years, it could be $130,000 salary. Like, that's so fast. That's so fast. I recently discovered you on Instagram. Tell me something about you. I mean, how I learned. I just taught myself on my own. I was working at a company and we would process 2,000 people a day on this with paper. It was a drug testing company. It had nothing to do with tech. I was so sick of it that I was like, I need to figure something out. And so I just I found this thing called Microsoft Access, this database thing. And I just started coding it, a solution where someone could just come in and put their fingerprint down on a fingerprint thing, and it would pull their name up and print up their information. And I coded all this because I was so sick of the problem. And I didn't even know I was a programmer at the time. And then somebody's like, another company, competing company is like, hey man, I'll pay you $25,000 to build the same thing for us. And I was like, okay. And then I got into the world of programming. And then that's also a testament to, if you commit yourself to something or building a project, you're going to learn far faster than just watching 350 hours of videos or follow along, code along, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. When did I start? I started in 2007. Applying knowledge isn't easy. Got to look up projects and apply them. Absolutely. Yep. Why was the Swift Challenge postponed? We didn't have enough people. So we've got more now, though. So we do have enough now. But the 30-day code challenge, where you can do 30 days of intensive coding with coaching, live meetups, where you do a new mission every single day from beginner to advanced, 30daycodechallenge.com. That's June 1st. 30daycodechallenge.com, June 1st, for JavaScript and for Swift. We have to have a minimum amount of people in the challenge because there's live coaching. I have to pay the teachers to be there to help coach and regulate the whole program. So June 1st. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to wrap up. I got phone calls and other things to do. If you want to work with me and my team, if you want to make $85,000 even this year as a programmer, you could do that. You've got time to do that. You still have time to do that. DevSlopes Academy. So it's devslopes.com/apply. You get to work with me and my team. We do iOS, Android, or web development, and we'll coach you, train you, and we will actually help you get your very first job. And you don't ever get kicked out. We keep working with you until you have that first job. So thanks, everybody. I do this every day, Monday through Friday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. And we'll see you again tomorrow. All